The Electoral Commission has assured us everything is set for the polls tomorrow. The fact that voting sheets have already been sent to the regions, all the regions across the country.
Nabil, we can hear you. Carry on.
Hello? Yes. So the fact that voting sheets have already been sent across the country ahead of the elections tomorrow. Also, we know the fact that 62,000 security personnel have been also deployed across the regions to monitor the elections at the polling stations and also to thwart any disturbances that may come up. From all indication, all is set for tomorrow's election. We've had the election observers from the AU coming. We've also had the ECOWAS election observers being headed by former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf also coming down. And also we have local election observers also ready for tomorrow, especially also the EU election observers are also present here in Ghana to monitor the elections. Now, I should also say that on Friday, the two main front runners, Nana Akufo-Addo, the incumbent, and the former President John Mahama, signed a peace pact to send a signal across to their followers and their supporters that they would want peace to prevail during and after the polls, and whoever is declared the winner of the election, that should not bring any violence or aftermath of any chaos when the winner of the election is declared. So for now, we know that everything is set for tomorrow for the polls to kickstart.
And is there an expectation of a peaceful election? You say quite a few security personnel on the ground. Are there any security issues?
Well, in the early part of this month, the police CID actually came out to tell us that there are some flashpoints across the regions which they see that there is a potential issue of violence that will erupt those polling stations, and then they would beef up security on the grounds. Ghana's elections have largely been very peaceful, except for some pocket violence in terms of snatching of ballot sheets and all that. But then that's just on the very low side. This time around, the security personnel are up to the task. They are saying they'll be able to thwart any issues of that sort that should come up at the polling stations, hence deploying over 62,000 security personnel drawn from the Ghana Armed Forces, the police service, the Navy, the Army, and also, the fire service, and as well as the prison service. They've all been deployed across the region to monitor the voting across the polling stations in the regions.
So Ghanaians are being offered a current president or a former president, both experienced in governing, no doubt. Tell us about the differences. Tell us what the front runners are offering.
Indeed, we know that this is the third time both frontrunners are competing for the presidential, for the presidency, and a lot is at stake. The fact that former President John Mahama had a one term, and he is actually saying there was a lot that he did during his term in terms of improving the economy and also bringing a lot of infrastructure development to the country. He is accusing the current President Nana Akufo-Addo of not really improving the country and also being slow in terms of developing the country in terms of infrastructure. So he wants to stage a comeback to continue with some of the good works that he claims he's done between 2012 and 2016, and Ghanaians may want to decide on that. On the other hand, the current President Nana Akufo-Addo is also telling voters that he's done a lot within the 4-year tenure, although COVID-19 hits the country this year. As of last year, Ghana was doing well in terms of the economic indicators, and he feels if not for COVID-19, a lot would have been achieved, and he wants a re-election to continue with the second term so that he can fulfill all the other campaign promises that he couldn't fulfill within the first term. one key thing that he's saying he's been able to do has to do with the fact that, his key policy, which is the free senior high school, he's been able to implement it, and he would want voters to consider the fact that he's been able to implement this particular policy to bring some relief to parents and also allow students to go to school for free within the senior high school process. And he would want to be retained to continue that policy and also improve the economy further. So these are the issues that electorates would be looking at, whether this particular administration has done well in terms of improving the economy and also handling some other policies in terms of education, or they would want to go back to the former president to continue with the governance and some of the things that he'd want to do for the economy.
All right, thank you so much. A great setup ahead of the polling tomorrow in Ghana. We'll follow that for you. That was SABC's new correspondent, Nabil Ahmed Rufai.